Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Thursday, the 21st of November. I'm Stephen Ridgway. There is a bug in the reboot needed facility of Ubuntu, which has been around for most likely a decade or so, that has recently been discovered. So we've recently discovered it. It's been about for a while though. It allows local attackers to gain root privileges without any interaction on behalf of any logged in users on the device. So reasonably serious, certainly worth patching and dealing with if you are running Ubuntu. So the four or five vulnerabilities. They're all CVE 2024 48990. Oh, that, by the way, if you heard, it was a warning. Snow soon. Okay, right. So CVE 2024 48990. These have all got a CVSS score of 7.8, by the way. So that's a vulnerability that allows local attackers to execute arbitrary code as root by tricking the need restart into running a Python interpreter with an attacker-controlled Python path environment variable. Then 48991 allows for arbitrary code execution by winning a race condition and tricking need restart into running a fake Python interpreter instead of the real one. 48992 allows for arbitrary code execution as root by tricking need restart into running a Ruby interpreter. And final two, 11003, again, which has a CVSS score of 7.8, and 10224, which has a CVSS score of 5.3. Both of these allow a local attacker to run arbitrary shell commands. The issue appears to be have been introduced when interpreter support was introduced to need restart in version 0.8, which was released in April 2014. So this has been floating around for a long time. Undoubtedly, fixes will be made available very soon. However, in the meantime, the workaround is as simple as disabling the interpreter scanning feature in need restart, which involves adding a specific line to the need restart.conf file, which is in /etc/need restart. So the line to add is in the article from Security Affairs, and there are also links out to the individual vulnerabilities and the advisory from Ubuntu themselves about what to do. So because this is a very wide-ranging Ubuntu vulnerability, would strongly recommend you have a look at this and then do the right stuff with it. So yeah. Okay, so we spoke yesterday. There are updates. Updates were pushed out yesterday for Mac devices. Well, I came across an article in GB Hackers today that talks a little bit about one of the vulnerabilities. Now, whether this is one of the ones that got fixed yesterday, I'm not sure, or I haven't had a chance to dig into it yet. However, it is worth being aware of. So you can see what things could be potentially thrown at Mac devices if you're using Mac devices. This is a race vulnerability in the Workflow Kit app. It's Tractors CVE 2024-27821, and it allows malicious applications to intercept and manipulate shortcuts on Mac systems. The race allows for so if you use Macs, you'll be aware of this, but generally Macs are pretty good at checking for valid signatures and making it not impossible, but a little bit difficult to run things that aren't. You have to be a little bit more determined to run something that doesn't have a valid signature rather than simply click yes, okay, run it. You have to go into settings and give it permissions and things. So you've got to stop and think about it. However, if this race allows that check to be bypassed, then you wouldn't know that that it is not a valid signed application. So Apple has addressed this vulnerability by implementing additional sandbox restrictions and improving the path validation processes. So if you are looking for a reason to patch or update your Macs, this is a particularly good one to consider. So yeah, have a read of this if you're running Macs, and then, as I say, as of yesterday, there are updates to all things Apple out there, so strong recommendation to apply those. Okay, and then finally from me for this morning, again, a very straightforward briefing this morning. There is a gathering of the great and good to discuss AI safety going on in the US at the moment. This is an arena which is very much in flux at the moment. The conference is being hosted by the Biden administration with officials from the US and US allies, including Australia, Canada, Japan, Kenya, Singapore, and the UK. Oh, and also the European Union. Began meeting yesterday, on Wednesday, in California to discuss controls and safety around the use of AI, including stuff like deep fakes fueling fraud and impersonation and harassment and abuse, and so on and so forth. Generally, I think a good thing to be for there to be some serious discussion around what's going on with AI in this particular space. However, it is needs to be seen in the light of the fact that incoming President Trump has been quoted as saying during his campaign that he intends to repeal Joe Biden's dangerous executive order that hinders AI innovation and imposes radical left-wing ideas on development of this technology. So it is going to be interesting to see what comes out of the conference or the meeting at the moment, and then what come January will happen subsequent to the change in president in the US. So if you're interested in AI and AI safety, as I think we all should be, it's definitely a story to keep an eye on. I think there are some good reasons to be concerned about AI security and safety. I think also the cat's out of the bag, and if to some extent, yes, we can probably get US and US allies to come up with a set of rules that that we'll all stick to. But does that mean that everybody else will? Probably not. So we are in an interesting position, I think. And certainly, this is a story I'm going to be keeping an eye on myself. And as things unfold, I will undoubtedly bring those to your attention. So, thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a good Thursday. If you're in the UK, I hope the snow hasn't caused you too much in the way of disruption. If you're not in the UK, well, you probably don't care about snow in the UK.